Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Okay, welcome to What's on Tap Podcast.com. We are here once again to drink some beers and tell you what we think about them.
This is true. This is what we do. It's kind of become our shtick.
It has been our shtick for many, many years. I am your host, Stefan.
I'm your host, Martin.
And what do we got today, Martin? Because you have served us up some big bottles of goodness, hopefully.
Today I wanted to shake it up because this show we rarely, we almost never open big bottles. It's That's lot true. Of cans and a lot of small bottles.
That is very true.
So I wanted to bring two they're lambic brewers, but some you might not be allowed to call lambic because of regional.
They're wild ale brewers.
Exactly. That we haven't had on the show, but we've had a number of years, etc. Mm-hmm. So the first one is, I think we're going to start with a beer from Bofkont. I think we've talked about them, and when we went to the Mikkeller Wild Ale Festival, that was probably the first time I tried Bofkont. It might have been, or close to it.
I think I tried them before then, but yeah, they were really hard to get, and they don't show up on the open market very often. It's usually
they didn't at that time.
Yeah, somebody you know has a bottle, or you have to go to Netherlands to get beer from there.
I think Bofkont are Belgian.
Are they Belgian?
I'm pretty certain. Yeah, they have to be Belgian. You're thinking about Tommy Chef.
Ah, yeah, and also aren't I thinking about the other bottle that we're having?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay.
So when Bofkont do their releases, you need to apply for the privilege of buying a box, and they select. I don't know what they select based on. You need to put in your contact details and a small summary. And I usually write something like, "I intend to share these bottles with like-minded lambic enthusiasts." Maybe they just see, Martin Lindstrom. We have to send him a box.
That guy.
Because I've been lucky many times. And I've always enjoyed them, so it makes sense for them to pick me.
Yes, because you'll only share the goodness.
Exactly,
which is great. Which is what they want. They don't want people to take it home and then put it in the cellar and then not drink it for 10 years,
or sell it,
or sell it. That's really the bitch move.
Exactly.
Or just drink it alone. They want it to be shared with as many people as possible, so everyone can try.
Yeah.
Their beers.
It is possible that they keep track of who's reselling them and then just blacklist those people.
Yeah, that's always possible.
And because I don't do that, I just get a quick pass to...
And what's nice is you don't trade under your name, so it's harder to track.
But the beer we have is Bofkont Lazy Red Amber 2023, which is a blend of 1 year, 2 year, and 3 year old lambic. With a small, what does it say? With a small variety of Spanish plums.
Okay, I mean, it smells amazing.
I don't know what a small variety means. Either it's a small number of variants or a small amount.
No, it would be a variety. Would be multiple types of plums. So maybe they're not really tracking. They just got a bunch of plums in, and so we're like, well, we can just use all of these plums because they're about to go bad.
Maybe.
Or it could be that maybe they made like a series of beers with different plums, and they were just like, well, we don't really have enough to do another batch of anything, so we'll just throw them all into one and call it a small variety.
Maybe.
Yeah. I'm not that familiar with the Bofkont bottling process. I'm not really sure what they put out.
It looks really intensely red and kind of murky.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, for this to be made with plums, I didn't actually expect it to be the color of the skin of plums. I thought it'd be more, like, of the two beers you told me about, I did not expect this one to be the one that had the plums, or this one to be this color.
No, but when you just read the name Lazy Red Amber, you think it's an amber beer. You don't think that it's a lambic fruit with plums.
Right, but the other beer has fruits in it that would denote a color difference.
You're right.
So, yeah.
And we'll get to that.
It smells like plums. It smells so good.
It smells really good, actually.
It smells like whenever I try a 3F beer made with plums, all the things I love about it, it reminds me of that.
Let's try it. Cheers. It has a good carbonation.
Oh, great carbonation. That's surprisingly tart.
Oh, it's real tart.
Yeah.
It's an immediate punch of fruity, tarty flavors.
Yeah, you get a lot of the plum in there. I mean, it's super plum, but it's not jammy kind of plum. It's much more like a slightly unripened plum. Like when you get one of those, they're kind of hard and tart.
The one you steal from your neighbor's tree before they're fully ripe.
The carbonation is really so tart. Sorry, I'm having a turn. I'm talking. The carbonation is really good. There is a high pucker factor here. I feel it really gets into your teeth and your mouth. It really coats it pretty heavily.
There is a higher pucker factor than I
was anticipating. Yeah,
and than I was anticipating.
But the aftertaste is real fruit forward. It's really pleasant. It really lingers, and the more it lingers, the more that plum essence kind of comes out over the tongue. It's a really, it's doing the job, man.
It's really fun. While you were speaking, I was swishing it around in my mouth, and doing that, I got a lot more sweet plums. Like swishing it around, then the tartness kind of fades while you're doing it. And that's quite fun. And then you swallow, and it immediately becomes tart again.
Yeah. Really catches you by surprise how tart it is. It's almost like I'm trying not to drool because it's so tart.
So how strong was it? We never said.
6%.
6% ABV.
So what would you give this?
I think a 425 is where it ends up.
Yeah, I think I'm there with you. It's I think if it was a little jammier, not quite as tart, it would probably be a 4.5, but
or even higher. Yeah.
Yeah. But that just kind of kick in the teeth with the tartness kind of makes you step back a little bit.
It has a higher average and it has higher rating from friends, but I don't know. Maybe you should pair this with something that.
Oh, you know what'd be good with this?
Tell me. Cheese, but we don't have any cheese.
Lame.
That's too bad.
All right, this podcast is over.
But you agree with the 425? It is good.
You know, it's really good. It's very drinkable, even with the tartness on the upfront. You know, as it lingers, like I said, as the oxygenates over the palate, I'm just like, God, I want more of that.
Yeah.
And then you drink it again, you're like, oh, it's good, but damn, is it tart? And then it mellows out, and you're just like,
I need some more. Yeah.
A nice warm, almost like a plum cobbler or pie kind of flavor there at the end. It's really, really good. All right, so what do we have next?
So the next one is from another brewery we've never had on the show.
No.
It's from Antidoot Aether. That's the name on Untapped, at least.
Right, and where are they located?
They're located in Belgium, in Kortenakken, Vlaams Gewest.
Right, it's a really small town in the middle of nowhere, if I remember correctly.
I think that's true.
Yeah. And Antidote used to be like super hyped, like impossible to get. You kind of very sought after for like about 3 years, and then I haven't really heard about them in a while. Like it's just kind of like the hype faded, and then it just all became Bofkont. Not Bofkont, but Booker Writer.
Yeah,
and Bofkont actually. Those two became kind of the. It was like Antidote and Tommy Chef, and then like they dropped a little bit in their popularity.
I think Antidote became too rare. Like you couldn't get it anywhere, and then people kind of lost
interest.
It kind of fell out of people's radar. The first Antidote I ever had was at Himmeriget in Copenhagen.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Yeah. And then I went to Amsterdam to visit a friend, and there was one bar that was supposed to have Antidote, So we went there and we sold the last bottle yesterday. Like, I was always hot on the heels of more Antidoot. And then now recently, a 10-pack appeared at European web shops. And I snagged one. It did sell out quickly, but not quickly enough that, I mean, it was our friend of the show, Pontus. He was like, hey guys, this is existing. I think he was baiting me to order it.
Of course he was. It was like, hey guys, Martin. By the way, this is out. You should be buying this.
Exactly.
So what's crazy is I remember I've been in Brussels and I could buy it in a shop.
Yeah.
And I was in Rome and there was a place and they had like 4 different bottles as well. And I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it. I went with other stuff. Mostly because when you're traveling, packing a 375 milliliter bottles, it's quite heavy. The bottles they use for these are heavier than wine bottles, so it really adds up pretty quick.
It really does. Shipping cans is much more.
Cans and small bottles are really worth it. The cans are really the money. You can pack a lot in them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this version from Antidoot is called Aether Kina or Aether China, but it's not. It's China with a K. And it says, we infused a beer aged for about 1 year with a bit of Cinchona bark. It's re-fermented in the bottle with the juice of blackcurrants from the garden.
Cool.
And it's bottled in January of 2024. And with the blackcurrants, you would expect a different color.
Right, which is what threw me off, because this does not look like the blackcurrant beer. So when I saw both of these, I thought that the first beer you gave me, which is very reddish looking, was a blackcurrant one. And then this was...
No, it's not.
But it smells like it's almost got like a little Brett in there, almost like a farmhouse, Saison-y kind of smell to it. But this is...
It's called Wild Ale Other.
Wild Ale Other, all right. But it smells very, very Saison-y in the nose. What's the ABV on this?
6.5.
6.5, okay. So it's a little higher on the ABV scale for that.
Cheers.
It's like a cross between a geuze and a Saison.
Yeah. There's a lemony aspect to it.
That's the Saisoniness in there. And there's that little bready kind of flavor in there as well.
There's some fruitiness. I don't know what the Cinchona bark is doing. I don't know what Cinchona bark is.
Well, I mean, if only there was a way to look up that information, but it's impossible. There are no handheld devices that you could possibly look up on.
We need to find a large book, an encyclopedia, and go to
what are they called?
Encyclopedia.
Oh,
and then go to C. Oh, right. There was one book for each letter.
I mean, I think the E and F were actually combined, and I think Q and R maybe or something were also.
Yeah. You wouldn't have an entire book for Q.
It'd be a very thin one. They would have to, like XYZ is kind of its own book as well.
So the Swedish name for Cinchona bark is actually China bark, like the country China.
Well, it is called Aether Kina or Aether Kina.
Yeah. But it is Cinchona.
How do you say China in Swedish?
Kina.
Kina.
Yeah.
Right. Why do you keep calling it Kina?
Because they're not. I wouldn't.
How do the Belgians pronounce China?
You're asking.
No, what?
You're asking me as if I would know that answer.
I would have said. I would just call it China.
Yeah.
Since we know that's what they're trying to spell here.
Anyway. Yeah. I have no idea how they pronounce it. But it's a South American tree.
Okay.
Native to the wet montane forests in Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia.
Cool. But it's really good. It's like you said, it's got that kind of lemony citrus notes. Almost like a Meyer lemon or like the zest kind of slightly not like the pulp, but like the zest and the bitters part.
But it's also kind of strange. I don't know where to place it.
That's what I said. I thought it was a saison because it is extremely saison-y. It is not wild ale flavors at all on this one.
No.
But again, I find it very drinkable.
It's fun.
I quite like this. I am going to give it a 4.25.
Wow. I was in the regions of 4, but maybe it is a 4.25. I mean, the flavors I'm getting, none of them are off flavors. I think it's just that it's not what I expected.
Well, when you read like this, like using this kind of bark, and you read about using what do you call it? Blackcurrants. You in your mind you have these kind of flavor ideas, especially around blackcurrants. But it's not that, which I think does make it more interesting and gives you more things to think about as you're drinking it. I feel that once this sets up and it breathes in like half an hour or so, it's going to be a very different experience, and you're probably going to like it even more.
It's very likely. Going back to the Bofkont, it's more mouth-puckering, but it's also more jammy at the same time.
Oh, okay, so it's had time to breathe a little bit too.
I also think I needed some contrast. I needed something that tasted different from it.
Yeah, I don't get as sour now as I did at first.
No?
It could be because it's warmed up in the glass a little bit, so the other flavors are coming through. But yeah, I think both of these are a 4.25 beer.
Nice.
They're really good.
And let's hope that now that
what did you give this?
I'll give it a 4.25.
Okay,
you've convinced me of going beyond my expectations and rating it for what it actually is.
If only you were this malleable in all parts of your life. I could really just control you so easily.
Yes, like a puppet master pulling the strings. Let's hope that more Antidoot bottles show up on web shops. Now that this is the first one I've ever been able to buy to own. All of the other ones had been drinking.
So you have, 9 bottles left? Or
there are 9 other bottles.
All right.
Depends on what happens between now and when this.
Okay.
You're not going to post this episode tomorrow.
Well, I can only say
you could
as of this recording.
Yes.
How many you have? Okay.
Yes. But 2 of them are ciders.
Oh, nice.
8 farmhouses and wild ales, and 2 ciders.
Very good. It's a nice haul.
It's an interesting. It's an interesting mix.
Yeah, no, definitely. That sounds like it's a pretty good mix. All right, well, we'll wrap it up here. You can find us at what'sontappodcast.com, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever you find podcasts, you can find What's on Tap. So until next time,
keep drinking it, dum-dums.